mean, early set can be extremely difficult and overwhelming, especially for those of you who haven't had a chance to practice on the PBE quite a bit, which I know is probably going to be most of you guys watching this video. And so in today's video, I want to talk about the new set mechanic and what I call charm theory. Charm theory is just simply an idea that I came up with. It's a way of looking at the new set mechanic and something that I think you guys can probably abuse, especially any of you guys who are regularly below master. I think you guys can abuse this and just really take advantage of a lot of people in your games who are not going to understand this mechanic. Now, I think a lot of high level players are probably going to already be picking up what I'm putting down in this video, but maybe you guys will learn something in this as well. So let's get into it. So if you're unaware of what the new set mechanic is, I'll just have it pulled up right here. Set mechanic charms in each round of Magic and Mayhem. You can buy a single charm that shows up every third shop, from simple spells that can be purchased for free to really potent brews for a small sum of gold. As the game progresses, the charms grow in power, where some of the most powerful spells can be revealed through the mystical prowess of Xerath's Ascended Trait. So yeah, so the idea of this charms, it's a lot like encounters, but you get to choose and it's individual. So you get to choose, so they'll just naturally show up every 3 shops, or you can roll for them, and you can only have one each turn, and you don't have to have one each turn. One's not going to show up every single turn unless you roll for it. And later on in the game, so earlier on in the game, it is every 3 shops, and then post stage 5, it is every 2 shops. So what is charm theory? Charm theory is just simply the idea that rolling on all stages just went massively up in value. Why is that? Because when you are rolling for upgrades, you can also roll for a combat charm or an economy charm, depending on your situation. This is the basis of charm theory. Now, again, this is something that I came up with, but I'm sure so many other high-level players are aware of this. I haven't been watching really any streams, but this is just something that seemed very obvious to me. So obviously, if rolling mid-game is strong, then naturally that would increase the value of reroll comps. However, I think the devs are aware of this, which kind of backs my point that rolling on all stages is going to be strong, because I think the devs are aware of this because they increased bag sizes for lower cost units, making 3-starring them more difficult. Because naturally, if you want to roll on stage 3, that would make all the 2 and 1 cost comps much stronger. So I think they're trying to avoid that, and really that strengthens my point a lot. Now, this doesn't mean you always roll for a charm. There's a lot of nuance to charm theory, and I'm still trying to get a hang of this myself. And so I'll give you guys some rules here on how to roll, what charms, when you should roll for your charms and that sort of thing. So when should you roll for charms early mid game? And again, I'm going to give you guys these rules, but remember, TFT is completely contextual, and you should make decisions in mind with the context of your game. So early game, you just got to roll with, you just got to roll with the punches, guys. You got to take the charms that you are given. The only time you would want to roll for a new augment or a new charm early game is if you have a reroll based augment, which is what we're going to talk about in just a second, which I think is going to be a big LP hack for you guys. But yeah, only do that. It'd be very special circumstances if you wanted to roll for it early game. Now, mid game, you'll roll if you have multiple upgrades or need a critical upgrade. So if you're sitting there with like a Syndra pair and a Cassio pair and a Hecarim pair, then hey, it's a really good idea to roll for a charm if you don't currently have a charm, because also when you're rolling, you can get your upgrades. And what I mean by a critical upgrade is like you just really need this 2-star Nyla and you can win this whole stage. Then it's like a good idea to roll for your critical upgrade and also find the best charm for your comp on that roll down. Additionally, rolling when you're win streaking for a combat charm can absolutely be the difference for maintaining your streak. I'll see so many people 100 streaking and I'll look at their board and they have some upgrades they need and they just won't roll for a charm. They could get some upgrades and keep their win streak. Now, you don't sack your entire economy to try and maintain a win streak, like be realistic, guys. But if you're in a situation where you think the difference between me winning and losing here is going to be a charm diff, then roll for your charm if that's going to net you, 20 gold on that stage for your win streak or whatever. Now, that is the basis of charm theory. Now, let's talk about how you can manipulate charm theory. You can manipulate charm theory a lot by taking reroll-based augments. They are so OP if reroll-based augments stay the way that they are right now. So right now, this is how it is, and Mortdog did say this could change before it goes live. Rerolls on all reroll augments roll over the rounds unless stated otherwise. So what I mean by that, if you have something like Trade Sector where you get a free refresh every single round, if you don't use it for 5 rounds, they will accumulate. So the way that you can abuse that for charm theory is you can sack the early game, because early game, it's not as important to reroll for your charms. If you take something like Trade Sector, you can do the free rotation every turn to get your upgrades, whatever. But once you have your upgrades, if you have your 1-cost upgrades, you can hold on to those rolls, and then mid game, you can abuse charm theory by always having a charm every turn with very little punishment, because you could stack up having 6 rerolls or 5 rerolls. If you stack that up from stage 2 in the early parts of stage 3, you could have 5 rerolls in the bank, And then once you're on stage 3, every turn of that stage, you could have a combat charm if you wanted to streak, or an economy charm to recover some of your economy if you held a lot of upgrades earlier. And so having that type of augment can just allow you a lot more flexibility in your strategy and just a lot more options. And you can have a charm every turn. If someone else wants to have the charm every turn, they're going to have to pay anywhere from 2 to 6 gold every turn to get a charm. Meanwhile, you're paying it for free or for 2 gold when you get to the end of the stage, and you can have a charm every single turn. That is what makes reroll based augments very, very, very powerful. It's the rerolling. It's the fact that your rolls will be they can roll onto the next round. Keep having to say the word roll, but it's the fact that you can bank up your rerolls. That's what makes it so OP. So if they change this rule, then this way manipulating charm theory will not be as powerful. The other thing about this, if this stays the same way, is the fact that whenever you take a reroll based augment, it makes it a lot easier to play reroll comps. Like I just said before, I think the devs are aware of this. That's why they made the bag sizes higher, which will make it harder to force into a reroll comp unless everyone else is also playing reroll comps. So it should make it harder to 3-star it. But remember, guys, reroll comps is like one of the easiest ways to climb early set, because reroll comps are extremely easy to play once you know how to min-max them, once you have a little bit of practice on them. Extremely, extremely easy to pilot. And the devs just usually aren't very good at balancing the 4 cost early on in the set, because they're just more complicated units, more moving parts when you have more units on the board. And so the devs normally just like to have, I don't know if they like to have it or it just happens this way, but typically rerolling at verticals seem to be very strong early on in the set. So again, if you're going to take a reroll augment to try to abuse charm theory, if you believe in charm theory like I do, then naturally reroll comps are a lot stronger. And again, reroll comps are usually just strong early set. So this is the basis of this. If all of these things stay true, I really think if you guys can understand charm theory and also take the reroll augments and get good at playing reroll comps and get used to taking the reroll augments and that sort of thing, then you could just have a massive advantage over the vast majority of the player base. Again, if you're in high elo, I think probably everyone is going to understand this very, very quickly if this does turn out to be meta. But again, I think you guys can totally abuse people in lower elo. So give this a try. Report back to me if charm theory is working for you. Maybe it won't work. Maybe I'm just wrong. But I really feel good about this, guys. I've been testing this out a lot. I'll continue to test it and come back for more charm theory later. Good luck climbing, and I'll see you on the next one.